Okay, now my student here, we are proceeding looking on the structure of the alveol, which is found within the lungs, and we have seen that this structure, which is called the alveol, it is responsible for producing a chemical-like structure of a chemical substance which is called the surfactant. So this surfactant, we have seen it has several functions, or it has several importance in the body of an organism, since it helps in gaseous exchange. So now also we can say that this surfactant, they also have macrophage, which are protective cells that remove debris and microbes by phagocytosis. So we're going to see this is the structure of the surfactant in the figure 6.3. So now, my student, we have seen that this structure, it has a macrophage. We know that the macrophage is the structure which is responsible for removing any waste, any debris, any kind of material which are not needed by the body. So now this macrophage which is produced by this surfactant ndio ambayo sasa itakuwa ina uwezo wa kuondoa zile bacteria, zina uwezo mkubwa sana wa kuondoa maybe dust particles that are unhealthy, so they are not needed or they are not required by the body. So now you can see this surfactant, it is very important in gaseous exchange. So as we have seen that, we're going to see in the figure 6.3, and this one is our figure now 6.3, structure of the alveoli. So this, ukiangalia structure ya alveoli ndivyo inavyoonekana hivyo. And now you can see within the alveoli now there is several structures. And one of it here you can see these red blood cells, which is responsible for carrying oxygen from lungs to several parts of the body. But also we have the blood capillaries. Pia inafanya kazi ya kusafirisha ile oxygen au carbon dioxide. But also we have a white blood cells. You know the function of a white blood cell act as a defense or protective, meaning that inaweza ikaondoa different kinds of microorganisms that they are unhealthy. So that is the function of the white blood cell. But also there is a alveoli barrier. Hii alveoli barrier tunasema kwamba ni ukuta ambao sasa unaruhusu specific material kuingia na kutoka tu, inayoruhusiwa kuingia na kutoka ndani ya alveoli. Also you can see we have the alveoli air sac, space. Hapa ndipo ile oxygen au carbon dioxide concentration inakuwa hapo. But also now you can see here we have epithelial cell produce the surfactant. Hii ndio epithelial cell ambayo ina produce hiyo chemical substance ambayo inasaidia kwenye surface tension of the body. But also now you can see we have connective tissue cells. We have the macrophage. Now you can see this macrophage, it is produced by the surfactant. The purpose is for killing if there is unhealthy bacteria, viruses, and so on. They are not required by in this region. So they tend to be removed by this structure which is called the macrophage. We have this epithelial cell. They're all the same. It is used in producing the surfactant. But also now you can see the blood plasma. This is obvious because the blood plasma within it, there is a several material which are found within it. So maybe it provide energy and so on. So that is the structure of the alveoli. But don't forget that the structure of the alveoli within it is responsible for production of the surfactant. So my student, here we have seen surfactant. Now I would like to take you through the surface tension of the lungs. The surface tension of the lungs. So what is it, and how does the alveol help in the surface tension of the lungs? So now we can see that the surface tension provided by the surfactant stabilize the alveoli during inflation and dilation resulting from inhalation and exhalation of the gases. We can remind ourselves that we have seen in the previous session, on the first session, that this surfactant, it will help in the process of gaseous exchange. On how is here now we are going to elaborate. We have seen that this surfactant, it provides a surface tension. The surface tension that is provided by this structure, which is called the surfactant, ndiyo ambayo sasa inasaidia ile alveoli pale ambapo mtu anakuwa anaingiza hewa safi na kutoa hewa nje. So the tendency of inhalation and exhalation, it is aided by this structure which is called the surfactant, since it provides the surface tension of the lungs in general. But also we can say that the surfactant is a phospholipid and a protein chemical produced in early development stage of the fetus. So what is this is surfactant now? Imetengenezwa na nini ndani yake hii surfactant mpaka ina uwezo wa kuprovide surface tension to the lungs in general? Tunasema kwamba hii surfactant ndani yake imetengenezwa na phospholipid pamoja na protein chemicals. So these protein and phospholipid chemicals zina be produced on the early stage of the fetus. Kwa maana kwamba pale mtoto ambapo anakuwa in the womb of a mother. Akiwa kwenye womb of a mother ndipo ambapo different organs are produced. So and one of the organ that are produced is the lungs. So hii surfactant inaproduciwa on the early stage before ile lungs haijatengenezwa. So tunasema kwamba kuna uwepo mkubwa sana wa hizi chemicals, for example phospholipid together with the protein chemicals which help now to produce this structure which is called the surfactant that might help the organism or newborn child in the environment now waweze kuelewa haya mazingira ya nje ya kuvuta hewa na kutoa hewa. Ile yote inasababishwa na hii structure ambayo inaitwa surfactant. So this chemical helps to lower the surface tension and produce the lungs expansion during inspiration or inhalation and prevent alveolar collapse. So now we can say that those chemicals comprising of the phospholipid together with the protein ndizo ambazo sasa zinapelekea kuproduce surface tension within the lungs. So pale ambapo surface tension inakaa within the lungs ndipo ambapo tunasema kwamba mtu anaweza kavuta hewa kwa urahisi zaidi na kutoa hewa kwa urahisi zaidi, and hence ina prevent the alveolar collapse. But also we can say that it is also believed to protect the lungs from infection. Pia ina protect the lungs from infection. What are the infection? Here we are talking about bacteria. Remember, this surfactant, it is produced, but also it tends to produce macrophage. The macrophage which is produced by this surfactant ndio ambayo inaenda kill any kind of bacteria or virus or any microorganism that might enter with the air. So this surfactant, it tends to kill. So by that we can say that it prevents the lungs from infection, since bacteria wakiwa kwa wingi ndani ya lungs inaweza ikafanya lungs isifanye kazi yake properly. So now we can say that the proteins and the lipids that make up the surfactant have both hydrophobic and hydrophilic region that are important in lowering the surface tension by adsorbing to the air-water surface interface, which hydrophobic heads group in water and hydrophobic tail facing toward the air. So now, my student, you can see the importance of this surfactant which is produced by the alveoli. Since here we have seen that these chemicals, specifically we are talking about phospholipid together with the chemicals, ndizo ambazo zinasaidia sasa kuprovide surface tension within the lungs mpaka mtu yule anaweza akabreath vizuri zaidi. And here now you can see this is obvious, the structure of the phospholipid. Phospholipid ina comprise of hydrophobic head and and hydrophilic tail. But this hydrophobic head ndio ambayo tunasema kwamba the word phobic meaning that hating, phobic, that meaning the hating. So hapa unaweza ukaona kwa maana kwamba hydrophobic head group in the water, kwa maana kwamba haiwezi karuhusu maji kuingia kwa urahisi zaidi ndani ya alveolar. But also we have this hydrophilic. Hydrophilic ina facing away from the region of the alveolar, since hydrophilic ndio ambayo inakuwa ina allow sasa water to enter through. So now you can see hydrophilic tail facing toward the air. So hizi structure ni structure ambazo zinapatikana ndani ya ile phospholipid. Tukisema phospholipid, keep in mind that we are talking about this structure that is hydrophobic together with the hydrophilic. But the thing that you have to keep is that within the alveoli there is a structure which is produced, which is called surfactant, and this surfactant ndio ambayo inasaidia during gaseous exchange. So my student, by saying so, and this marks the end of our today's session. So thank you for your attentively listening, and bye bye. Have a nice moment.